Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Wooden Legs Brewing of Brookings is about to celebrate their 4th anniversary. Co-owner and head brewer Seth Cook.
We actually really like this time of year because it actually is around American Craft Beer Week. So the whole nation is in a celebratory mood for craft beer. You know, a lot of breweries all throughout the country. You know, even breweries are out, right in our neck of the woods. Put special beers on. Bars do too. They do special events, and we happened to, when we got open 4 years ago, coincided with American Craft Beer Week. So it's a good way to kind of mark the ages or put a check mark on the wall, but also gives us good reason to celebrate just what is craft beer. So I guess it is 4 years now. We were looking at that, some of the events that we have done, say 4th annual on them, and that is. It's fun to think back.
Craft Beer Week, the 14th through the 20th of May, and they'll be celebrating. So, is it what you thought you'd be, Seth, when you first started planning this brew pub?
There are many aspects that are kind of what we thought it would be, but we always, and probably every small business owner would tell you this, there's always something to surprise you, at any given time. Where I do think we are at is I think we are part of a building craft beer culture in the state, and especially in Brookings here. We've met a lot of customers who have become friends over pints of beer, and I can remember almost to the day some of them coming in for their first time to try it, and now they're trusted reviewers of some of our flagships, and they're valued opinions of some of our whimsical beers. So that's one of the things we wanted to do when we set this out, was to build some community around it, not just community, craft beer community, but community in general.
And of course, they've made a lot of beer.
But I thought 5 years ago I had a pretty good pulse on what the world would like, and that was foolish at the time. And we've had we've adapted, we've changed. My own tastes have changed, and we've gotten better at things. We've probably neglected some things that I thought originally were going to be crazy, wild, good ideas, but just never, people didn't gravitate towards. And, we've added to our lineup for based on feedback for customers. So the beer is probably one of the most, and I don't mean this tongue-in-cheek, but it's one of the most organic experiences here, is just how what people want to drink.
They still make some of their initial flagship beers: Split Rock Creek Pale Ale, 353 Stout, Farmhouse, or regulars. What We Got IPA and Cool Blonde still make occasional appearances.
It's fun to think back on it, as I remember making these back, on our small Sabco system, and even before, making some early renditions of them on my kitchen stove. And of course, they've adapted as we've grown, and and we've perfected them, and we've added some process to make them more hoppy or more clear or attenuate better. There's things that we tweak, but the real core of what they are really what they were. The backbone's still the same. Some of the fringe has been different.
Seth says there's some great people who work at Wooden Legs and some who have moved on.
And, we hired and trained a number of brewers and pub keeps that have went on to do cool things. And when we're talking about, kind of a flashback, the throwback to what we've done, we've had one of our pub keeps graduated from state here, went to California, and now works for a yeast lab. One of our brewers is starting a brewery down in Sioux Falls. One of our brewers has moved to Portland and is involved in the craft beer industry there. And it's been really fun. Our assistant GM here was the first Cicerone in South Dakota.
More on the 4th anniversary at Wooden Legs and some exciting news for their future when Beer Untapped continues. Welcome back to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller as we look ahead to the 4th anniversary celebration at Wooden Legs Brewing in Brookings. Seth Cook says a lot has changed since they started. From just a handful of brewers, the craft beer scene has now grown to more than 20 breweries around South Dakota.
Building an industry here, and that's been really cool, to see those things jump up and people to take the flame and start growing hops and opening breweries and doing yeast and talk about malting. it feels really good to be a participant in those and be able to help those conversations and give people some reference point for what we're doing. And, honestly, that started about 4 years ago when we started this.
When Wooden Legs opened, there were only a couple of places in Brookings you could order a craft beer. That has certainly changed, as now nearly everyone offers at least one or two craft selections.
That's been a great development for the community for us as well. When we started this, we had a big cooler full of craft beers and other things, and offered a pretty wide selection just to kind of give people the chance to taste through the palette of the different areas of the country. And over the last 4 years, our cooler selection has consciously got smaller and smaller because there's other parts of the city that are and of the community that are filling those needs, and that's been awesome because that allows us to focus on the beers that we make here. I think we've transitioned from what would be maybe a craft beer bar initially to really finding our own voice, and people have come because they appreciate what we do. And I love the fact that they can go to about any place and have an excellent craft draft selection. That is fantastic. I like, even selfishly, I like being able to go around town and having great beers to put on.
Seth wants Wooden Legs beer to be part of that selection available at other locations.
And we're starting to hit some space limitations here about how much we can make. And you mentioned that we do have about 10 beers online all the time. So one of the ideas that we've had is to take this show on the road, and can we start introducing other people to our flavors outside of Brookings, or even more of the locations within Brookings. People ask us often, why don't we see your beers at all of these craft beer bars that now exist in Brookings? And I would have no greater desire than to be able to walk down Main Street and all over town and have a ability to have a Wooden Legs beer no matter where I parked or where I chose to sit.
But you can't make enough beer.
That's the truth of it, is that the size of the system we have is really pressed to make sure that we keep beers here.
There are options if they want to make more beer. They could try squeezing more equipment into their space, an expensive proposition, or they can take their recipes to a facility that has the capacity available to make craft beer, and that's what they're trying.
To be able to make enough beer that can now exist in all of the wonderful bars in Brookings and even in Sioux Falls, or even on the I-29 corridor. Now we're not looking to take this show on an international tour. And then our ultimate goal is to put stuff in package. I would love, we get that asked all the time, do you guys take package? Is there a way I can take this across the state? Can I take it to the lake? And the growler works. But we've been debating, researching, and trying to find ways to allow more people to take and share what we're doing with others. And some of that involves maybe even doing 6-pack bottles.
So it's possible we may see 6 packs of Wooden Legs beer, maybe for this year's Hobo Day. Seth says it's an exciting challenge. There will be events all during the week, May 14th through the 20th, to celebrate their 4th anniversary, but the biggie, the beer dinner, Thursday, May 18th. Don't miss it.
We've partnered with the Old Market just up the street, and it happens to be super local, super close, easy to get to. We're going to be doing a progressive dinner. You're going to start at the pub here. We're going to have 2 sittings, so if you check out the time slots, that's the reason. You have a chance to go to an early dinner or a later dinner. It's going to be a 4-course at the end of the night. So you'll work through the 2 courses here. You'll actually get up and go to the Old Market, sit down at the Old Market, and have 2 more courses there. And I think we're going to end up making a very special tapping party on that night of one of our most popular beers that is probably made far too few times around here, people say. It's a great beer pairing. Devin over at the Old Market has put it together, and of course we have Angela here who has worked on the beer side of it. It will be a lot of fun, and it's honestly it's only $35. It's made so that it's super approachable. It's a super good deal.
Get your tickets at the pub or online. More information on the Wooden Legs Facebook page. And that's it for this week's show. Until next time, drink local and drink responsibly. Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.